Hello fellow sim racers. Today I'm taking a look at the Sim Racing Coach GT1-Pro wheel. This is a standalone wheel and button box set that can be used with direct drive wheels or on Thrustmaster wheelbases with an appropriate adapter. When I decided to make the switch to a direct drive wheel system, choosing the wheelbase was relatively straightforward. However, when it came to choosing a wheel, things were more complex. Essentially, you have three choices. Number one, buy a mass market wheel from someone like Fanatec or Thrustmaster, convert it to USB and buy an adapter to make it fit the servo. Number two, use a real-world steering wheel with a separate button box and a quick release or other mounting system. Or number three, buy a pre-made wheel designed for use with direct drive setups. Now, converting an off-the-shelf sim racing wheel is the cheapest option, while the dedicated direct drive rims are usually the most expensive. And that's where the Sim Racing Coach GT1 wheels come in. These are 100% plug-and-play wheels meant for direct drive systems, but they cost about the same as a Fanatec rim and the components needed to convert it to work with an OSW. The only issue I had was that English language reviews of the GT1 wheels were a bit thin on the ground, but looking at the spec sheet, everything seemed very promising. The button box is a combination of carbon fibre and 3D printed ABS, the electronics make heavy use of Bodnar components, and the wheel rim is made by Motamec, who have a good reputation for making affordable real-world parts. I opted for the GT1-Pro, which makes use of the Bodnar SLI Pro display because, well, more flashing LEDs can only be a good thing. The button box is constructed from two carbon fibre plates separated by metal standoffs and enclosed in a nicely 3D printed surround. The use of standoffs allows the wheel rim to connect through to the servo in a very solid way, ensuring that force feedback is transferred with minimal losses. This also means that the 3D printed surround is more for cosmetic purposes than structural, which is a very positive thing. Don't get me wrong, the quality of the 3D printing is great, with good layer adhesion and what looks to be decent quality ABS filament in use, but the inclusion of substantial steel standoffs is very reassuring. I was a little surprised to find that the GT1-Pro makes use of a purpose-built PCB, though I shouldn't have because it says so on the website. This marries up to the Bodnar display board with some very neat ribbon cable work. And while we're on the subject of electronics, the rotary encoders are also a Bodnar product, while the switches and buttons are more generic, but of a decent quality. The upper buttons are placed in nicely machined surrounds, making them ideal for things like the pit limiter that you probably don't want to be hitting by accident. The wheels supplied fitted with yellow button caps, but thoughtfully red and black options are also provided. I also really appreciate the inclusion of the toggle switches, which are ideal for menu navigation either in the car or on the wheel display itself, as well as the included rotary encoders. So, in terms of controls, the GT1-Pro manages to pack in a lot of functionality without making things look cluttered. As a final note on the electronic side of things, the USB cable isn't the best I've seen, but it's more than serviceable, and more importantly, it's mounted into the button box securely with a good strain-relieving fitting. All in all, what's inside the box is really very good. Back on the outside, and a word about the shifters. Again, these are 3D printed units with carbon fibre paddles and they operate using neodymium magnets. They feel fantastic and give a very positive shifting feel, which is worlds better than the Thrustmaster and Fanatec rims that I'm used to. Construction of these units is very solid and I have no concerns about the long-term reliability. One downside to the use of 3D printed enclosures for the shifter housings is that they don't look all that attractive. This is a byproduct of FDM 3D printing, which leaves a stepped finish on curved surfaces, giving it a bit of a Minecraft aesthetic. However, this is on the back of the unit in a place that you're never likely to see it. In use, the wheel feels solid and purposeful. The well-finished Motamec rim is reminiscent of the Momo Mod 30 and is very comfortable in the hand, with nicely applied Alcantara. And just to address something I got stick for in an earlier video, yes, you really do need to wear gloves with an Alcantara rim or things get ugly fast. Finally, before I move on, configuring the wheel and in particular the display was very intuitive. The free-to-use Fanatec software makes configuration of the display a very simple task, and I must say the sheer number of configurable parameters is very impressive indeed. The Sim Racing Coach GT1-Pro is a very well thought out wheel. Quality components have been combined with some smart cost saving measures to deliver a wheel with an impressive feature set for a lower price than a lot of their competitors. 3D printed parts have been used in non-structural applications, while carbon and steel are utilised where necessary. Quality electronics from Bodnar are used for the mission-critical stuff, while cheaper generic components are used elsewhere. Honestly, this is a really smart piece of product design, and it all comes together to form a product that, for the most part, has a very high-end feel. When you compare the GT1-Pro to other wheels at the same price point, it's hard not to be impressed. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, at €465, this costs about the same as a Fanatec rim with the required USB conversion and adapter. And for me, you're getting a lot more for the money. Now don't get me wrong, there are better wheels out there, but as far as I've seen, there's little that comes close at this price point. So that about brings things to a close here. If you've got any questions about the SRC GT1-Pro, then please leave a comment. In my next video, I'll be taking a look at some fun Daytona themed content, and with a bit of luck that should go live on Friday evening. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then it would be great if you could hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you think the video will be helpful for others, then please consider sharing it. As always, thank you for donating your precious free time by watching. It is very much appreciated. So all that's left to say is goodbye, thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.